The Council's decision came like a silent storm. Humanity, once a proud member of the Galactic Council, had been expelled. No war, no violent rebellion, only suspicion and doubt. The Council, a gathering of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, had judged humanity unfit to participate in their governance. Humans were to be left alone, isolated from the cosmic network that connected worlds, trade, and knowledge. On Earth, news of the expulsion spread quickly. Cities buzzed with disbelief. Streets that had been alive with interstellar travelers suddenly felt empty. Humans looked at each other, unsure whether to cry, shout, or simply accept what had happened. Leaders called emergency meetings, but even they were at a loss. How could a species that had contributed so much be cast aside so easily? And yet, humans did what they had always done. They adapted. Within weeks, efforts began to re-establish Earth as a self-sufficient hub. Scientists, engineers, and thinkers worked together like never before. Old technologies were refined, new ideas tested, and the collective spirit of humanity, its most enduring trait, began to shine. In New York, the skyline had changed. Massive towers powered by solar arrays now glowed with a soft blue light. Airships hovered above the city, silently delivering goods and people. In laboratories, children who had barely begun school were already experimenting with energy systems that could power cities in seconds. Across the world, humans were proving that their ingenuity could survive even without the Council. Despite the progress, there was an undeniable tension. Humans knew they were being watched. Scouts from alien civilizations occasionally appeared in orbit, careful not to interfere but observing. They marveled at human development, recording every advance. Some species whispered among themselves. Perhaps expelling humans was a mistake, they admitted quietly. But the Council, stubborn in its pride, refused to reconsider, at least for now. On the outskirts of Tokyo, in a quiet research facility, Leora Tanaka stood before a glowing holographic map of the galaxy. Her fingers traced patterns in the air, highlighting trade routes, research stations, and communication arrays. She had spent her life fascinated by space, not as a place to conquer, but as a place to understand. And now, in isolation, she had more freedom than ever before. Leora had recently discovered a principle that could allow humans to communicate instantaneously across vast distances, something even the Council's top civilizations struggled to achieve. She understood that this could change everything, but she also knew that using it to contact the Council carried risks. Some humans wanted to fight for recognition, others wanted to remain isolated and build their own destiny. Leora believed in a balance. Humans should grow first, then offer their help to the galaxy, not out of fear but from choice. Meanwhile, on Mars, the first self-sufficient human colonies thrived. Farms under glass domes produced food for thousands, powered entirely by solar and wind energy. Children played in open spaces, their laughter carrying across corridors lined with plants, while adults focused on perfecting life support systems and expanding settlement modules. The human spirit of innovation thrived even under exile. Even beyond the solar system, Earth's ingenuity reached farther than anyone expected. Using repurposed satellites and clever propulsion systems, humans launched probes that could reach nearby star systems. Each probe carried messages of curiosity, observation, and peaceful intent. They were explorers, not invaders, but the Council had banned even that. So humans acted in secret, quietly testing the limits of what they could achieve. But humans were not simply building machines. They were building culture, art, and stories. In Paris, theaters reopened with plays that depicted humanity's journey, its triumphs, failures, and dreams. Musicians composed melodies that seemed to echo the longing for distant stars. Writers penned stories of worlds humans might never see, imagining connections and friendships that could bridge the gap between isolation and the rest of the galaxy. It was in these quiet moments that humans discovered their true strength. The Council had expelled them not because they were weak, but because they were unpredictable, creative, and resilient, qualities that no one truly understood until humans faced adversity without assistance. Humans began to realize that exile was not a punishment, but a test. And tests, humans believed, were challenges meant to be overcome. In the Council's chambers, the absence of humanity began to create problems that no alien species could solve alone. Trade negotiations stalled. Scientific projects lacked imagination. Conflicts between species lingered without resolution. Slowly, some Council members began to whisper about a missing spark, the energy that humans once brought to every project. A galaxy without humans felt slower, colder, and more cautious. Back on Earth, Leora held a meeting with some of the brightest minds of her generation. They spoke not of revenge, but of opportunity. "We have time," she said, her voice calm and deliberate. "The galaxy has underestimated us. Let them watch. Let them see what humans can do when they are truly free." Her team nodded. Each one understood that humanity's next steps would define its future. They began working on ambitious projects, faster propulsion systems, quantum communication networks, and energy sources that could power entire planets. Every day, humans pushed the boundaries of science, art, and community. And every day their reputation quietly grew among other species who watched from afar. Yet exile carried emotional weight. Families remembered Council envoys who had once visited Earth, admired humans, and then left with cold smiles. Some older humans still carried memories of isolation, fear, and confusion. But they also carried stories of resilience, courage, and hope. They shared these stories with the younger generation, teaching them that setbacks were not endings, but beginnings. On a quiet night in London, children looked at the stars and wondered what lay beyond. They imagined alien friends, distant planets, and the day humanity might once again walk among the stars. Their dreams were bigger than ever because they had no limits imposed by the Council. Their imagination became a kind of power, a reminder that the human mind could not be confined. Even as humans built incredible machines and expanded knowledge, they never lost what made them uniquely human: curiosity, empathy, creativity, and a drive to explore. These qualities the Council had once feared were now the very essence of human strength. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were innovators, thinkers, and pioneers of a destiny the galaxy had yet to understand. By the end of the first decade of exile, Earth had transformed. Cities hummed with energy, technology advanced faster than anyone expected, and humans lived in harmony with their environment. Isolation had become an opportunity, fear had turned into courage, and loss had been transformed into vision. The galaxy watched silently, some with awe, some with apprehension. And in the quiet halls of her research facility, Leora prepared the next step. If humanity could master communication across light years, they could reach the Council, not as beggars, but as equals. They would show the galaxy that exile had not broken them, but had refined them. That message, when it arrived, would change everything. Humans had been expelled, but humans had not been defeated. Exile was the beginning of something far greater, a rebirth of ingenuity, courage, and hope. The stars, once distant and unattainable, now called to them louder than ever before. Humanity was ready, not for revenge, not for power, but for the chance to prove that their spirit was worth more than any Council could ever measure. And so, the first chapter of humanity's exile ended, not with despair, but with determination. Across Earth, from the deserts of Africa to the forests of South America, from the icy plains of Siberia to the islands of the Pacific, humans looked up at the night sky and smiled. The galaxy might have cast them aside, but humans had already begun to rise. For the first time in centuries, humanity felt the quiet thrill of freedom, and freedom, humans had learned, was the most powerful force in the universe. Years passed, and Earth began to shine in ways no one had expected. Humanity, isolated from the Galactic Council, had not only survived, it had begun to flourish. Cities rose higher, technologies advanced faster, and the human spirit, tested by exile, became stronger and wiser. In the sprawling city of New Delhi, the skyline was alive with glowing towers connected by floating transport lines. Each tower was powered by energy systems humans had developed themselves, systems that drew from the sun, wind, and even the subtle energy of Earth itself. Children played in parks that floated above the city, their laughter mingling with the hum of machines and the soft whir of drones delivering supplies. Life, in exile, had become rich and meaningful. But humans were not satisfied with Earth alone. They looked outward. Mars, once a distant dream, now hosted thriving colonies. Under massive glass domes, humans farmed crops using advanced hydroponics, while scientists worked on perfecting sustainable habitats. They transformed barren soil into vibrant green spaces, proving that life could flourish even in the harshest conditions. The colonies were not just survival experiments. They were statements of ingenuity, determination, and hope. Across the solar system, humans were building starships, testing new propulsion methods that allowed travel farther and faster than ever imagined. Yet humans were careful. They did not seek war or conquest. Their goal was exploration, understanding, and connection. Every ship launched carried messages of peace, knowledge, and curiosity, a silent demonstration of the human spirit to anyone watching from the stars. Some alien scouts had begun noticing. From the observation decks of council worlds, envoys whispered among themselves, "Humans are achieving the impossible. They thrive without our guidance." Rumors spread that humans had discovered energy sources no other species could harness, and were building communication networks that could connect planets in seconds. Even the Council's most advanced civilizations could not match Earth's rapid growth. In a quiet lab in Tokyo, Leora Tanaka studied the latest progress of the quantum communication project. Using principles humans had discovered during exile, she was developing a system that could send information instantly across vast distances, something the Council had once believed impossible. She smiled as her fingers danced across the holographic controls. If successful, humanity would have the means to reach the Council not as supplicants, but as equals. Leora's team gathered around, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the lab. "Every generation of humans has faced challenges," she said, her voice calm but full of conviction. "We have always turned obstacles into opportunities. The galaxy may have forgotten us, but it will not forget what we are capable of." Her words sparked energy in the room. Humans had always been dreamers, builders, and thinkers. In exile, those qualities had been amplified. The team worked tirelessly, testing energy systems, refining algorithms, and expanding the reach of their new technology. Their purpose was clear. Humanity would grow stronger, not for revenge, but for a future where humans could contribute to the galaxy once more. Meanwhile, on the far side of the moon, humans were perfecting artificial intelligence systems that could assist in exploration and problem-solving. Unlike earlier generations of AI, these were not designed to replace humans. They were designed to enhance human creativity and efficiency. Robots and machines worked alongside humans in perfect harmony, helping to construct massive habitats, manage resources, and even simulate experiments that could take decades on their own. Culture thrived alongside technology. In the museums of Paris and the theaters of Rio de Janeiro, humans celebrated their history, achievements, and imagination. Stories were told of past explorations, of dreams that had once seemed impossible, and of the courage that had allowed humans to survive even in the darkest times. Music filled the air, paintings adorned every hall, and performances reminded humans and any alien visitors watching from afar that creativity was as vital as technology. Humans began to explore distant star systems. Probes, powered by advanced propulsion, carried sensors, messages, and even artistic recordings of Earth's culture. These probes traveled silently, gathering information and leaving traces of humanity's ingenuity across the stars. Some alien civilizations began to notice. Whispers reached the council chambers. The humans are spreading their influence without even asking permission. Despite all these achievements, humans never lost their empathy. Their colonies prioritized sustainability, cooperation, and fairness. No species had ever seen a civilization thrive in isolation without resorting to conflict, greed, or hierarchy, yet humans had managed it with balance and vision. Even their children were taught values of kindness, collaboration, and curiosity. It was not just survival that defined humanity. It was the way they chose to grow. On Mars, Leora visited one of the research domes, observing children learning about planetary science through interactive holograms. "They will surpass us one day," she said to her assistant. "And they will do it with the same human spirit that has always guided us, imagination, courage, and the will to explore." Her assistant nodded. "The galaxy is watching," he said. "Some species are already asking questions. They remember humanity, and they are realizing that leaving us in exile was a mistake." Back on Earth, humans began debating their next step. Should they reach out to the Council, showing their achievements and asking for reintegration? Or should they continue building a society independent of alien oversight, demonstrating that humanity could thrive on its own? Voices argued both sides, but Leora believed the right approach was clear. Humans would not beg. They would offer their knowledge, their creativity, and their solutions as equals. "Imagine if the galaxy had our help all this time," Leora said during a council of human leaders. "Think of the crises that could have been solved, the discoveries that could have been made. We are not asking for forgiveness. We are showing that we have something valuable to offer." Her words resonated. Humans realized that their exile had been a hidden advantage. While other civilizations focused on politics, humans had focused on growth, technological, cultural, and ethical. They had become faster thinkers, more creative innovators, and stronger problem solvers. The Council had cast them aside, but humans had turned that rejection into a renaissance. Even the youngest humans were part of this transformation. Schools no longer taught only history and science. They taught philosophy, ethics, and interstellar diplomacy. Children learned about the Council, not with bitterness, but with curiosity. They imagined solutions for interstellar conflicts, designed new technologies for exploration, and created art that celebrated unity among diverse species. In orbit above Jupiter, a new space station hummed with activity. Humans from multiple colonies collaborated on research that combined physics, biology, and engineering in ways no one had ever tried before. Leora watched the project progress remotely, knowing that every step humans took was proving a simple truth. Humanity could thrive anywhere, alone or together. And the galaxy began to notice. Small messages reached Council worlds, encrypted signals, glimpses of human technology, reports of peaceful colonies on Mars, and experiments that hinted at breakthroughs beyond comprehension. Some species began whispering, "Perhaps humanity's exile was a mistake. Perhaps we need them back." Leora understood the importance of timing. Humanity could not rush to the Council. They had to be ready, not only with technology, but with proof of their values. They needed to demonstrate that humans, even after years of isolation, had not lost their spirit of cooperation, their creativity, or their empathy. On Earth, she gathered a team of young visionaries from around the world. Each was a master of their field: quantum physics, energy systems, artificial intelligence, and interstellar engineering. Together, they formed a new human mission, not to fight, not to beg, but to reach across the stars with a message of hope, curiosity, and partnership. "The galaxy has watched us grow," Leora told her team. "Now it is time to show them who we are, not as a species to be feared, but as a species to be respected. Our exile has made us stronger. Our achievements are our voice, and one day they will listen." In the quiet of her lab, Leora initiated the final tests of the quantum communication network. The lights flickered softly as signals were sent across light years. It was more than technology. It was a symbol of human determination, ingenuity, and vision. For the first time, humans were reaching beyond their planet with a voice that could not be ignored. And so, the human renaissance was underway. Exiled, yet thriving. Isolated, yet connected in purpose. Humans had proven that exile could not define them. It could only sharpen them. The galaxy, once blind to their potential, was beginning to notice. Somewhere in distant council chambers, alien envoys whispered, "They are rising faster than we thought. Perhaps we underestimated them." Leora smiled, knowing the work had only just begun. Humanity had survived exile, but soon the universe would witness something far greater, a civilization that had grown stronger, wiser, and more brilliant because it refused to be diminished. The stars had always called to humanity, and now humans were answering with courage, creativity, and determination. The Council might have turned its back, but humanity's vision could not be denied. Exile had ended one chapter. The next chapter, a human comeback, was about to begin. The Galactic Council convened in the grand chambers of the planet Zithera, a world of gleaming towers and shimmering lakes. Representatives from dozens of advanced species filled the halls. The Council had once prided itself on wisdom, order, and foresight, but now tension and uncertainty lingered in every corner. A debate had begun, one that no species wanted yet could not avoid. Trade negotiations were stalling. Conflicts between distant civilizations lingered without resolution. Scientific projects lacked the innovation needed to solve urgent problems. Everywhere the Council looked, there was a subtle gap, a missing spark that no alien civilization could replace. That spark, they reluctantly admitted, had always been humanity. "The galaxy suffers in their absence," said Varel, a counselor representing the aquatic species of Thalcora. Her voice rippled through the chamber like waves across water. "Our trade networks falter, our research stagnates, and even our diplomacy falters. The humans were unpredictable." Yes, but their unpredictability brought innovation and solutions. A murmur spread across the chamber. Many counselors remembered the humans, their energy, creativity, and courage, but some still harbored prejudice. Zypher, a representative of the crystalline species Corvani, spoke sharply. "They defied our judgment once. Why should we trust them now?" Varel responded firmly, her voice echoing. "It is not about trust. It is about necessity. Our galaxy faces challenges we cannot solve alone. We have lost the very species that once bridged our differences and created opportunities where none existed. Whether we like it or not, humanity is needed again." For hours, debate continued. The Council reviewed trade records, technological developments, and interstellar crises. Each example pointed to a single conclusion. Humanity's absence had left the galaxy weaker, and worse, no other species could fill the gap. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans continued to expand their influence quietly. Leora Tanaka, now a recognized leader among human scientists, gathered the brightest minds for an unprecedented mission. They would communicate with the Council, but not as beggars, nor as desperate petitioners. Humanity's message would be clear. We have grown, we have learned, and we offer our knowledge willingly. Leora and her team worked day and night, preparing the first interstellar delegation. Advanced ships were built, capable of reaching Zythera in record time. Quantum communication systems were tested repeatedly. Cultural exhibits were prepared to showcase humanity's achievements, technology, art, literature, and philosophy. Every detail was designed to demonstrate the values that had always defined humans: creativity, cooperation, empathy, and courage. In the quiet of the Tokyo lab, Leora addressed her team. "We are not asking for approval," she said firmly. "We are showing the galaxy what humans can do. We are not returning to beg. We are returning to contribute, to help, to share. And when the Council sees us, it will not see what they feared. It will see what they underestimated." Her words inspired her team. Engineers, scientists, and diplomats from around the world worked together, perfecting technologies that allowed instantaneous communication across light years. They designed spacecraft capable of traveling faster than previously thought possible, ensuring that humans could reach Zythera safely. And they developed simulations to anticipate every possible scenario at the Council. Far from Earth, the Council was growing more concerned. Reports from scouts indicated rapid human development, advanced propulsion systems, new energy sources, thriving interstellar colonies, and technologies capable of solving crises that had stumped even the most advanced civilizations. Rumors spread that humans had discovered methods of communication faster than any known system, a method that could bypass traditional interstellar limits. "Perhaps it is time to reconsider," whispered Thalcor, an elder counselor. "We acted too hastily in expelling them. Their exile has only made them stronger, wiser, and more capable than we realized." "Reconsider?" hissed Zypher. "You would invite them back? After everything?" "They are not seeking vengeance," Thalcor replied. "They are seeking opportunity to contribute, and the galaxy could use their help." Council debates raged for days. Some species feared that allowing humans back would upset the balance of power. Others feared that rejecting them again would make the Council appear weak. Even the most rational beings struggled to agree. Yet everywhere they looked, evidence of humanity's growth was undeniable. Humans were no longer the unpredictable, impulsive species some had feared. They were leaders, innovators, and collaborators. On Earth, Leora monitored the debates through hidden communications and quantum observation devices. She smiled, knowing that time was on humanity's side. The Council was beginning to understand what humans had always known. Isolation had not diminished humanity. It had strengthened it. Leora's plan moved forward. The delegation of human leaders prepared to travel to Zythera. Each member was carefully chosen for expertise, diplomacy, and leadership. They would not simply present technology, they would present humanity itself, its values, its culture, and its potential. The journey to Zythera was a moment of quiet reflection. Humans aboard the ships looked out at the stars, marveling at the beauty of the galaxy. For many, this was the first time they had left the solar system. Yet they felt no fear. Humanity had survived exile, had thrived in isolation, and had become stronger as a result. Every light year they traveled was a reminder of what humans could accomplish when united. Meanwhile, back in the Council chambers, tension continued to grow. Reports of human advancements had reached every member species. Some species began to quietly lobby for humanity's return, arguing that cooperation with humans would benefit everyone. "We need them," said a counselor from the winged species of Aranth. "Without their guidance, our galaxy stagnates. They were the spark that ignited progress, and we have been lost without them." Other species, however, remained cautious. "They have always been unpredictable," argued Zephyr. "Their energy is unmatched, yes, but so is their potential for chaos. If we allow them back, we must proceed carefully." The Council realized they faced a dilemma unlike any before. Humanity had grown beyond their expectations. Rejecting humans again could isolate the Council from solutions and innovation. Accepting them could shift the balance of influence in ways they could not fully predict, and yet, no species could deny that humans were needed. As humans approached Zithera, Leora held a briefing with her delegation. "Remember," she said, "we are not here to argue. We are here to demonstrate. Show them who we are, not through words alone, but through what we have built, what we value, and what we offer. We do not beg. We inspire." The ships entered Zithera's orbit, gleaming against the light of the planet's twin suns. Council envoys watched from the observation decks, curiosity and caution in equal measure. For the first time in decades, humans would stand before the Council, not as outsiders, but as equals. In the chambers, the Council awaited their arrival. Silence fell as the human delegation entered. Their ships docking in perfect formation. Humans moved with confidence, their expressions calm but determined. They carried no weapons, no demands, only knowledge, culture, and vision. Leora stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "We come not to challenge you," she said. "We come to show what humanity has become. In exile we have grown. We have built, learned, and explored. We offer our knowledge and creativity, not as a favor, but as a contribution to the galaxy we once shared." A murmur spread through the chamber. Council members exchanged glances. Some remembered the humans they had known long ago. Others had only heard stories. But everyone recognized the truth in Leora's words. Humanity had changed. They were no longer unpredictable or impulsive. They were wise, capable, and united. The Council debated once more, this time in earnest. Evidence of human growth, combined with the delegation's calm and respectful presentation, made a strong impression. Slowly, resistance began to fade. Voices that had once opposed humanity's return began to speak in favor. "It is clear," said Varel, her voice steady, "that humans have learned, adapted, and contributed in ways we cannot ignore. We must consider them not as outsiders, but as partners." Even Zephyr, who had opposed humans most vehemently, nodded reluctantly. Perhaps we were wrong to cast them aside." Leora and her team waited patiently as the Council deliberated. Every moment was tense, yet hopeful. Humanity had grown, but they understood that acceptance could not be demanded. It had to be earned through vision, values, and integrity. Finally, after long hours, the Council reached a decision. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would be welcomed back, not as beggars, not as supplicants, but as equals. The galaxy had recognized what humans had always known. Their exile had not diminished them. It had refined them. Leora allowed herself a quiet smile. Humanity's journey was far from over, but the first step toward reintegration had been achieved. Exile had ended, but the true challenge, the task of sharing humanity's knowledge, culture, and vision with the galaxy, was just beginning. As the humans departed the Council chambers, they carried with them not only recognition, but responsibility. Their renaissance had proven that humans could thrive in isolation, innovate beyond expectation, and maintain values of empathy, creativity, and courage. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Underestimating humanity was a mistake no civilization could afford to repeat. Humanity's comeback was underway, and the stars, once distant and silent, now seemed to shine brighter in recognition of the species that had never lost hope. The day humanity returned to the Galactic Council was unlike any other in recorded history. The council chambers on Zithera, a planet of silver towers and sparkling oceans, buzzed with anticipation. Every species waited, curious, cautious, and for some, filled with a long-suppressed sense of awe. For decades, humanity had been absent, quietly growing in exile, and now the moment had arrived to show the galaxy what they had become. On the observation decks, aliens whispered among themselves. They have built faster starships, advanced energy systems, thriving colonies, and yet they arrive without aggression, without demands. Their words carried a mix of respect and disbelief. Even the most skeptical counselors could not ignore the reports of human achievements. The species that had once been considered reckless and impulsive had evolved into a model of cooperation, innovation, and balance. Leora Tanaka led the human delegation with quiet confidence. She wore a simple uniform, representing humanity as a whole, not her own achievements. Beside her stood engineers, scientists, artists, and diplomats, each a symbol of what humanity had accomplished in isolation. Their presence alone sent a clear message. Humans had grown stronger, wiser, and more capable, not by force, but by vision. Leora addressed the council. "We come not as outsiders seeking forgiveness," she said. "We come to show what humanity has become. In exile, we have learned, we have built, and we have explored. We offer our knowledge, our creativity, and our solutions, not as a gift to beg for acceptance, but as a contribution to a galaxy that has always been our home." The council chambers were silent. Every representative felt the weight of her words. Humans were not pleading. They were demonstrating integrity, vision, and capability. Their calm confidence was as powerful as any technology, and the truth in their achievements could not be ignored. One by one, members of the delegation presented humanity's accomplishments. Engineers demonstrated propulsion systems capable of traveling beyond previously known limits. Scientists showcased energy systems that could power entire planets sustainably. Artists displayed cultural works that captured the richness and depth of human imagination. Diplomats explained methods humans had developed to resolve conflicts peacefully and efficiently. Every presentation was a proof of humanity's values: intelligence, creativity, empathy, and courage. The council listened. Some species shifted uncomfortably in their seats, realizing the magnitude of what they had once dismissed. Others leaned forward, captivated by the elegance and ingenuity of human innovation. It was clear. Humanity had grown beyond expectations. They had not only survived exile, they had flourished. As the presentations ended, Leora concluded, "We do not ask for power, influence, or recognition. We ask for a chance to contribute, to collaborate, and to share what we have learned. We have grown because we believed in ourselves. Now we offer the galaxy what we can provide, not because we were exiled, but because we chose to rise." A counselor from the winged species of Aranth stood. "We cannot deny what we see before us. Humanity has proven that they are capable, responsible, and visionary. Their exile has refined them, not diminished them." Varel from Thalcora nodded. "They have not only met expectations, they have surpassed them. The galaxy would be stronger with humans as partners." Even Zephyr, who had once opposed humanity's return most strongly, spoke with reluctant admiration. "They are remarkable. Their exile could have broken them, yet it has made them wiser and more capable than we imagined. The Council has underestimated them for too long." The deliberation that followed was brief, for the evidence was undeniable. The Council voted unanimously. Humanity would be welcomed back as equals, not as supplicants, not as petitioners, but as partners, innovators, and collaborators. The chamber erupted in quiet celebration. Representatives whispered greetings, extended gestures of respect, and some even bowed in acknowledgement of human achievement. Leora smiled, but she remained composed. The vote was a milestone, but the true work had only just begun. Humanity's return was not about recognition, it was about contribution. They had proven that intelligence, creativity, and cooperation could overcome exile, misunderstanding, and doubt. The galaxy had learned a vital lesson: never underestimate humanity. In the weeks that followed, humans and council members worked together to implement new initiatives. Human engineers shared advanced energy technologies, transforming several council planets into sustainable, self-powered hubs. Scientists collaborated across species, combining knowledge to solve crises that had lingered for decades. Cultural exchanges brought humans and alien civilizations closer than ever before. Leora oversaw the creation of the Galactic Unity Project, an initiative designed to connect species through knowledge, art, and shared problem-solving. Humans contributed not only technology but guidance, teaching species how to cooperate more efficiently, respect diversity, and innovate together. It was a new era, one built on collaboration, not hierarchy. On Earth, humans celebrated. Cities glowed brighter than ever, not only from technology, but from pride and hope. Children looked at the stars, dreaming of the adventures now open to them. Humanity's renaissance had reached its full potential, and the galaxy was finally ready to witness the impact of an intelligent, compassionate, and creative species. Mars colonies sent messages of congratulations to Earth. Scientists on lunar stations broadcast cultural exhibitions. Humans everywhere felt a renewed sense of purpose, to explore, innovate, and contribute, not for power, but for the joy of discovery and the value of collaboration. In Zithara's council chambers, a new understanding had taken root. Humanity was no longer an unpredictable variable to be feared. They were catalysts of progress, leaders of innovation, and exemplars of resilience. The Council now realized that the spark humans brought could not be ignored. They could guide, inspire, and connect civilizations in ways no other species could. Leora, standing before the Council once more, spoke quietly. "We were exiled, yet we grew. We were underestimated, yet we became stronger. We did not seek vengeance, and we will not seek control. Humanity's strength lies not in conquest, but in curiosity, empathy, and collaboration. We are ready to contribute, and the galaxy is ready to listen." Her words resonated across Zithara. Alien representatives nodded, some with tears, some with smiles of admiration. Humanity had returned not because the Council had begged, but because they had earned a place among the stars through perseverance, innovation, and moral strength. The Council agreed to a new charter, ensuring that humanity would have a voice equal to all other species. Yet humans did not dominate. They collaborated. They led by example, showing that strength came from unity, creativity, and ethical action rather than coercion or fear. Months later, the galaxy witnessed its first Galactic Collaboration Summit, hosted jointly by humans and the Council. Species from across star systems participated, sharing knowledge, technology, and cultural achievements. Humans facilitated dialogue, introduced solutions to long-standing problems, and inspired creativity in ways no one had thought possible. Children from different planets communicated for the first time, exchanging ideas, art, and stories. Scientists from opposing civilizations cooperated on projects previously thought impossible. And throughout it all, humans served as a bridge, connecting ideas, cultures, and minds with patience, wisdom, and curiosity. On Earth, Leora watched the news feeds of interstellar collaboration. She saw children from distant worlds learning together, scientists sharing knowledge openly, and the galaxy moving toward solutions that had once seemed impossible. Humanity's exile had been a challenge, but it had also prepared them for this moment. A chance to lead not through dominance, but through inspiration, cooperation, and creativity. In quiet moments, she reflected on humanity's journey. The Council had expelled them, yet humanity had thrived. They had been underestimated, yet they had proven their value beyond measure. Exile had not diminished humans. It had refined them, strengthened their resolve, and reminded them of what made their species truly remarkable. And now, humanity had returned, not as conquerors or petitioners, but as partners, collaborators, and exemplars of possibility. The galaxy had learned a lesson that no law, vote, or decree could ever teach. When underestimated, humanity could rise beyond expectation, and in doing so, inspire the universe itself. As the sun set on Earth and the stars twinkled across distant skies, humans everywhere looked upward. For centuries, the galaxy had been just beyond reach. Now, it was open, full of opportunities, connections, and adventures waiting to be shared. Leora smiled. Humanity had faced exile and doubt, yet it had emerged wiser, stronger, and brighter than ever. The Council had once turned its back, but humans had turned that rejection into triumph. The stars called again, and humanity answered. Not with fear, not with arrogance, but with curiosity, courage, and hope. And the galaxy finally was ready to listen.